friends, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little something different on my channel today, and I thought I would do a little bit of a process showing you how I created a little bit of crafty art. I saw the stamps here from Impression Obsession on Summon Says Stamps website, and I'm not exactly sure how I initially saw it, but I was immediately drawn to it. Just the quote itself is very inspirational, and the person that says it is one of my favorite actors or just celebrities in general, who is lin-manuel Miranda, who, if you're not familiar by that name, he is the person that did and created the Broadway play Hamilton. He was actually the star of the show, but he has since then moved on and done other things, but he is still closely working with Hamilton, but he's just not the star of the show anymore. So I just absolutely love him and just what he does and who he stands for. And so this is just the perfect stamp for me to have because I adore him and I just love this quote in general. So I thought I would create, like I said, some crafty art for my craft room. And that's what kind of drew me to create this quote with. So I'm taking a piece of some ready cut watercolor paper from Strathmore. And I've got this die from Summon Says Stamp. It's a frame die that I'm going to be using also on the project, and I'll be using that a little bit later. But I wanted to make sure that I had this as centered as I possibly could, and that's why I'm kind of lining it up there. So I'm actually just eyeballing it more or less. I mean, you could get really precise and measure it out and all that stuff, but I was fine with just eyeballing it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this onto my watercolor piece. I'm using some Versamark ink here because I'm going to emboss my sentiment here. And I want to ink this up twice because since this is a new stamp, I want to make sure that I get a really great impression, as well as making sure that the embossing powder covers the entire surface of this panel here. So what I'm going to be using is some black embossing powder, which sometimes makes me very nervous because black embossing powder can be very messy. Usually, more times than not, whenever I want to do something in black embossing, I use my VersaFine Onyx black ink and then use some clear embossing powder. But I just went ahead and decided to go ahead and use my black embossing powder, and it turned out just fine. I did have some residual pieces of the embossing powder left over, but all I had to do before I embossed it was just take a dry paintbrush or brush and just brush that away before I actually heat embossed it with my heat tool. So now we're going to go ahead and do the inking process, and of course it was no brainer for me. I had to do rainbow colors for this because I want this to be happy and very cheerful and very bright. So it lends itself to do this in rainbow order. So I've got several different colors of Distress Oxide inks, and I will have all of them listed and linked below in the description bar area. But I'm kind of working in the middle here. I wanted to make sure that I had all the room that I had for the colors that I chose. So I decided to start in the middle of my project with the middle color, which is the Twisted Citron. Then I moved on to my yellow color, which is the Mustard Seed. And then I'm going to move on to the orange, which is the Ripe Persimmon. Couple of these colors are the newest colors in the Distress Oxide ink line. And I absolutely love ink blending with these Oxide inks. I still love my regular distress inks, but when it comes to ink blending, these are just seamless. They're very easy. They're very friendly to use, and I absolutely love blending with them. And on this watercolor paper, it actually makes it pretty easy too. So they really blend well onto my piece. So I moved on to the Abandoned Coral, and I got that down. Now I've kind of switched it around, and I'm going to do the blues and the greens and the purples on the other end. And for the kind of darker blue, I'm using Salty Ocean. Then I'm going to move into Blueprint Sketch, which is one of my favorite colors. It's got a little bit of a purple tinge to it. and I absolutely think it's a gorgeous color. So I'm moving into that, and then my last color that I'm using today is Wilted Violet. So I really love how all of these colors seamlessly blended together. As you can see, I did go back and forth several times with the colors. I would add a little bit, and then whenever I'd move on to the next color, if I had to, I went just back and forth just to make sure that I had a really seamless blend between each color. So I have got all my ink blending done here. Now I want to add just a little bit of shimmer to my project, and this really makes a huge difference. I'm going to hold it up to the camera here just a moment, and you will see all that shimmer and shine. Absolutely love this shimmer spritz. I also have it linked below in the description bar area where the supplies are. But it's it's my favorite of all time. I can say that with, you know, very much of confidence, because it's just gorgeous and it's very easy to use. And so I have the big bottle of it. I just had to have the big bottle of it, and I was introduced this shimmer spritz obviously from Jennifer McGuire. A lot of the things that I get are, you know, obviously introduced by her, but it's a wonderful shimmer spritz. So if you're looking for one, I highly recommend it. You can already see the effect of the shimmer on this. It's absolutely gorgeous. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that die that I showed earlier. I'm going to die cut that off camera with my die cut machine, and I just wanted to really make this pop. And obviously I wanted it to you know, like bring out the black, obviously, that I used in the embossing powder. So I just love black and bright colors together. It's a great contrast, I believe. So that's why I die cut it in black. And so I just added a little bit of dots of glue all over this piece, very little, because I didn't want it to ooze out or anything like that. So I used as many as I could and as little amount as I could. So that completes my project, you guys. Here it's going to show you here how the project turned out when I got a frame for it. And I absolutely love how it turned out, and hope you did too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you on my next video.